What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me today for episode number 70 of the Car 5 podcast. You guys know me. I'm your host, Joshua. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about Mr. Gordon Murray and how he's creating a brand new, what is said to be F1. Only this time, it's called the T.50. As usual, everyone, let's go ahead and just dive right into things. So, ladies and gentlemen, is this actually happening? Are we finally going to receive a brand new F1 or T.50 or T.50, whatever Mr. Gordon Murray is calling it? And the answer is yes. Yes, we are. Mr. Gordon Murray, if you're not familiar with who he is, he's the designer and creator of the world legendary McLaren F1. And if you don't know what that is, let me give you some knowledge real quick. It's considered by some one of the greatest supercars ever made. I actually consider it a hypercar, and I'm pretty sure most people do too. To tell you how serious of a car this is, first of all, for its time, it was one of the fastest, if not the fastest car in the world during its time of production, and it's still one of the fastest cars in the world today. To tell you how valuable they are, these McLaren F1s are, at Monterey Car Week in 2018, via the Bonham's car auction, one of these McLaren F1s sold for $15.6 million. At another auction via RM Sotheby's, we saw one go for $22 million. So that's how rare, expensive, and crazy and desirable these McLaren F1s are from Mr. Gordon Murray. Now he's come out of the gate saying, hey, we're making a new car that's basically going to be the new McLaren F1, and it's called the T.50 or T.50, however it's actually said. And it's just big news. In fact, I actually have a quote from Mr. Gordon Murray himself. He's saying this new vehicle is the highest power density, lightest, and fastest responding naturally aspirated V12 ever made for a road car. So we know how crazy rare the old one is, and we know how, just from this quote alone, how crazy the new one is going to be. But what else can we expect? What other details do we know? We know a little bit, not too much, but from what we do know, it already gets the blood pumping and the juices flowing and gets your adrenaline going. So we can't wait for this new T.50 to come out. But here's what we can expect. Only 100 of them are going to be made, and they're expected to fetch over $2 million. Well, if you can pay $2 million from one of Mr. Gordon Murray's cars right now, and then you know it's going to be appreciating up to $15 to $22 million years later, just from a sheer investment standpoint, that's beautiful and that's good. Just like the F1, the T.50 will be a 3-seater with 1 seat in the middle, 2 seats on either side. Now, the car, here's the most mind-blowing part to me. It only weighs 2,160 pounds. How does that even happen for a car? So you take this car, the T.50, that weighs 2,160 pounds. They're going to give it a mid-engine 3.9-liter V12 that's naturally aspirated and revs up to 12,100 RPM, which also has 663 horsepower and 332 foot-pounds of torque. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, it's really not that much torque. And I mean, yes, almost 700 horsepower nowadays. That's pretty decent, but it's not that crazy. The car only weighs 2,160 pounds. When you have a car that light, you don't need a big W12 or huge big liter displacement V12 or some massive V8 with twin turbos to go fast. You don't need 1,000 horsepower. You don't need 1,500 horsepower. You weigh 2,000 pounds. Can you imagine how fast you're going to go when you weigh 2,000 pounds and you have almost 700 horsepower? I am dying to know what the 0 to 60 is, and I'm dying to know what the top speed is. Now, the new V12 is specifically built and designed by Cosworth, the legendary engine makers. Now, in regards to the transmission, an ultra lightweight H-pattern 6-speed manual. I am so glad that manufacturers are still keeping the manual alive. There's nothing like driving a manual car. I know if you want to race and you want to drag race, you want to go around a track, yeah, If you want to win races, you got to use an automatic. But just from a sheer driving standpoint and having fun, there's nothing like a manual. There's just nothing like it. Regarding brakes, you're going to have carbon ceramic brakes with ultra lightweight monoblock alloy calipers. And then lastly, Mr. Gordon and his team are saying in regards to the aerodynamic system, it is the most advanced aerodynamics of any road car ever. Of course, this car is going to be rear-wheel drive, and that's it. That's actually all we know so far. I can imagine after Car Week, which is just a couple weeks away, we're going to learn more about this car. I'm super excited about it. I can't think about this car without having the adrenaline pumped in within me, and I'm super looking forward to it, and I'm sure you guys are too. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for episode number 70, talking about Mr. Gordon Murray and his brand new F1 basically is what it is, or they're calling it the T.50 or the T.50, however it's actually pronounced. I'm actually not sure yet. Don't forget to tune in and to the social media, like on Facebook, follow on Instagram. If you guys are checking out the podcast for the first time, go ahead and feel free to check out the YouTube channel. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. If you guys don't mind, leave a like on this video as well. Also, don't forget, if you guys are looking for car merchandise from your favorite brands, you want your favorite hat, shirt, jacket, sweater, accessory from your favorite car brands, you guys can head over to my site. I'll put a link in bio with a coupon code so you can guys get yourself a good deal. www.tlog.com for the sickest car merchandise out there that's 100% authentic and direct from the manufacturer. Don't forget to tune in to the next episode number 71. We're going to be talking about Toyota and their upcoming lineup of vehicles to go along with the electric vehicle and hybrid markets that's now suddenly booming. We're going to talk about their vehicle lineup for that. Of course, you guys know if you ever need anything from me, shoot me an email, info@car5podcast.com. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Please remember to drive safe and have a fantastic evening. Thank you.